Hello everyone, welcome to Foodie Friday. I am Dr. Amy with Body and Balance Chiropractic, Coach Shu with CrossFit Ice House. We have a guest today, Brooks, wanted to talk about fats with us.
Mostly just not wanting a nap.
Mostly just not wanting a nap, yeah, far more accurate statement than that.
Someday he'll regret that. What, yeah? No? You're pretty happy with your choice to not nap? Yeah.
Just wait till you turn into an adult, Brooks.
Yeah.
You'll be wishing you could
like,
nap.
man, remember all those naps I wish I didn't want to take?
I wonder if sleep thinks about me too.
Yeah.
So today we are going to talk about fat. So we're going to kind of approach fat like we did with sugar when we were kind of just went through everything else, or carbs in general. So today we're just going to give a brief overview about like what fat looks like on a food label, how much fat you're supposed to kind of be getting in your diet, and just what it means when you're tracking fat. Moving forward, we're going to delve into the really specific kind of nitty-gritty stuff of fat. So we'll talk about like omega-3s, omega-6s, cholesterol, what it means to have high cholesterol, kind of getting down.
Yeah, there's a lot of, it's just like anything else, like the carbs. There was a lot of weird little details that we don't always think about.
Right.
Fats are the same way, and fats kind of get demonized, so we're going to get to that. But first, we're just going to talk about overarching
themes.
Yeah. Fat in general.
I'm going to throw up a fat food label. So when you look at a food label, what you will notice is you'll see a total fat number. And then under the total fat, you'll see saturated fat and trans fats.
Mm-hmm.
What they don't have, and some people voluntarily, like you'll see them put it on the label, we're missing one. Total fat is actually made up of trans fats, saturated fats, and then unsaturated fats.
Right.
So it's awesome if they add the unsaturated fat portion of the label, but you can kind of get there in reverse by taking total fat minus the saturated fat minus the trans fats, and that would give you the unsaturated fat area. Total fat in a diet should be anywhere between 25 to 40% of your calories, just kind of depending. So I'm going to throw a calculation on the screen here. What you'll see for a 2,000 calorie diet, if you wanted to eat, somewhere between 20 and we'll call it 35%, you would just take 2,000, multiply it by 20%, multiply it by 35% to get kind of your range. Now, as you saw us do with sugars, there's an amount of grams per calorie. So
right, and fats are the highest one. So fats are more dense. So there's 9 calories per gram of fat. So you don't get the volume of food when you're eating a lot of fat.
So like it's twice. I mean, realistically, it's
almost twice as much. Yeah, so
it's more than twice because carbs are 4.
Yeah, so that's why when you use peanut butter, you used to be shocked.
Goes by fast.
The serving is.
Goes by fast.
Yes.
So then to get the grams, you would take the percentage of calories and then divide those by 9 specifically for fat. So you can take whatever number your calories is and kind of just run through this to figure out where you're going to be. Fat is kind of, I like to look at it as a lever in your diet. So between the 20 and 35%. If you're trying to do more of a calorie deficit and you're hungry, you can eat a little bit more fat because you're going to feel fuller with fat.
Right.
If you're trying to lean up and
if you're trying to if you're worried about aesthetics and you're trying to get that definition, then fat's probably what we're going to turn down.
We're going to amp that down.
Right. So that's why it's such kind of a big range.
It's a big range and a big number.
Yeah. When we had talked earlier, we just said a lot of people start with 40 protein, 30 carbs, 30 fats. It's very general. It depends what you're trying to do. So it's really great to talk to somebody if you're trying to if you have specific goals. Otherwise, a good 30 is a good place to start. And if you're tracking your fat, it's total fat. So
looking just at the total fat number.
Doesn't matter if it's saturated, doesn't matter if it's trans.
Well, it
does.
Okay, I was like, whoa.
It matters. If you're tracking fat and you're eating a lot of saturated and trans fats, then it's going to go real quick. So it's going to be really hard. So yes, it matters, but you're just looking at that total number. So
when you're talking when you're talking numbers and macro numbers, you're counting just the total fat number. So obviously, as with anything, a calorie is not a calorie. A gram of fat is also not a gram of fat. And those are going to be some of the things that we're really going to spend some time talking about in the future.
Right.
Overall, trans fats should be absolutely zero.
Yeah.
Don't eat it. And the FDA actually has came out with a regulation where they want all trans fats removed from food within, they've got less than 3 years to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Trans fats are kind of made for food to make them a little more.
They ain't real.
They're not real.
So
no.
It's basically processed oil so that something can sit on a shelf for a long time.
Right. So if you
I
see,
didn't know, we were researching it a little bit, and it's what causes like a flaky crust.
Flaky, yeah.
That's
giveaway
a
that
trigger
there's
of
trans fats.
I had no idea.
But we were looking for descriptors. But if you're reading like ingredients in a food label, anytime that you see that like partially hydrogenated
Mm-hmm.
is what a trans fat is. So trans fats are it's a pretty easy rule. Just don't eat them.
Right. And
then look for things like partially hydrogenated oils to indicate that there's some in there.
Yeah, because even if it says trans fat 0, but it has that partially hydrogenated oil,
it means
if it's below 1, I can't remember what it was. If it's below a certain amount, like 0.5, then they don't have to put it on there.
Sneaky
And if you're eating more than one serving, which sometimes happens,
you're getting trans fat.
It sneaks its way in there. So
right.
And you don't want any of it. So even getting a little bit of it is not great. So just avoid it.
Just don't eat it.
Yeah.
Just make it simple.
Mm-hmm.
Goose egg on the trans fat. So and saturated fats.
You don't want much.
Not that many. Very low with that either. That's right.
Yeah.
You tell them.
If you're gonna eat fat, you want unsaturated fat.
Right. So we will get into the specifics of that in the future. Today we just wanted to give you kind of an overview, talk about how to look at fat on the label, and we will go from there. So we will see you next week. What do you think? Should we talk about unsaturated fats next week? Yeah? All right.
Kind of fat.
Well, we'll see you next week to talk about that. Everybody have a great day.
Bye, guys.